This is the vocal with no processing and no effects.
What you know about rolling down?
I mean, that sounds like almost embarrassing compared to this.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental.
What's up guys, Ethan here with Complete Producer, and I'm so pumped for today because we're gonna go over how to make Astronaut in the Ocean. This song is an absolute bop by Masked Wolf, and it's really only got 5 elements. It's super simple, but it's super sick, and it freaking bumps. It's one of those songs that gets you like super pumped up. I put a lot of work into remaking the song entirely from scratch. So if you got a second, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and we'll get into Ableton and get started. Okay, first things first, let me just play through it so you can hear what I've done.
Astronaut. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion, yeah.
So there's really only 5 elements to this song. It's so simple. In fact, most songs you can break down into these 5 elements, but let me show you what I mean. We have the first element, drums. Then we have bass. Then we have mids, which is guitars and this boop noise. Then the vocals.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
And then we have effects. That's it. It's only 5 elements. It's pretty wild that a song with only 5 elements can be number 3 in the world on Spotify. This song's getting like 4 or 5 million plays a day on Spotify alone. Shout out to Masked Wolf. That is incredible for you. Let me show you real quick what the drums are doing. It's a pretty basic pattern. There's a couple things I want to point out. One thing is there's this second hi-hat here that does a really cool little pattern, and I've scooped out a ton of the low end on that. And I've also panned it to the right in the mix a little bit. This creates a little spice for the hi-hats. Another thing I want to point out with the drums that's cool is the kick. The kick is really punchy, but there's not a lot of low end. So it bumps on like a car sound system or even on your computer, but it also leaves a lot of room for the sub bass, which is the next element. Now the sub bass or the 808 is playing this super simple pattern. I made this using a preset called Knife Party Sub in Massive. This is not really too close to what the original preset sounds like, and had to tweak it a lot, as well as EQ it and take a lot of this high end out, and then sidechain it to the kick, put it in the middle of the mix, and compress it at the end as well with a Pro Seat. Let me show you what the drums and bass sound like together. Whoever produced Astronaut in the Ocean did a really good job at just making the subs so fat and take up a ton of space in the mix, but still leave enough room for the vocals and the guitar and everything else. Speaking of guitar, let's go ahead and open up and look at these guitar parts. In the intro, there's the most guitar stuff going on that I heard. There's this main guitar lead. And then there's this other sound that comes in. Those two together sound so epic. And then there's this shaker noise that I accidentally put into the guitar group, but let me show you what I'm talking about. And then there's this final guitar that comes in. Just adds a little spice at the end there. And then we have the vocals. To process my vocals, I have a pretty extensive chain. First, of course, I have my Waves Tune Real Time. I wanted my voice to be perfectly in tune, but I didn't want to worry about doing a million takes. Waves Tune Real Time is a great way to control your pitch. After Waves Tune, I put some light EQ, which is honestly hardly doing anything. Then I have the C6 sidechain stereo going on here, and it's just controlling a little high end around 6K. Again, it's not doing too much. Then I have Manny M Triple D on there, just getting rid of a little bit of this boxiness and also getting rid of some of these harsh frequencies. Let me show you what that's doing.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
So that frequency that you heard right there, it's toning that down a bit.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
Then I got Virtual Mix Rack on top of that. That's just doing some EQ, some compression, and then some more EQ. Revival is great for thickening up vocals, and the EQ Air puts a nice little shimmer on it. Next up I have Waves API 550B. Again, that's just doing some real light EQ. Then I have Arvox or Arvox set on the Pensado Good Vocal preset. I use this one on almost every song. After that I got a Waves de-esser, a CLA 3A, another instance of Pro Q, just scooping out some of the lows and a little bit around 2K, and last but not least another de-esser, Pro DS made by FabFilter. I know I just showed you a ton of plugins really fast, but basically at the end of the day, to process a vocal well, you just need to compress it and EQ it. A lot of the quality of your vocal is making sure that you're recording in a quiet room, you've practiced the song and you're able to deliver it well, and it's in tune, compressed, and EQ'd in a way that complements the voice that's being recorded. Also, adding effects to it really helps. For this vocal, I sent it to a reverb send right here. Then I also sent it to a flanger send, which is on send C right here. That just added a cool kind of stereo atmospheric effect to it. Then to widen up the vocal, I sent it to one more send. Let me show you. It's send D right here. And I just put an Ableton stock delay on these settings. I sent about 13 dB to it, and this is what the send sounds like by itself. So let me show you what all the effects sound like without the lead vocal. So these just kind of make the vocal take up a bit more space in the mix.
What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb?
This is the vocal with no processing and no effects.
What you know about rolling down?
I mean, that sounds like almost embarrassing compared to this.
What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb? You can call that mental.
I mean, that just shows you what a big difference processing your vocals makes. There's this little boop element in the hook. Let me show you really quick. I made that one from scratch as well in Serum. Just a couple of analog signs, some simple effects on them, and then I sent it through some reverb in Ableton and also spread it out using that same delay trick from earlier with the vocals. So that's pretty much the entire song. The vocal absolutely carries this song. Let me show you the song without the vocal so you can get an idea of how important it is. It's obviously a night and day difference. Masked Wolf slayed it on this. So if you've stuck around this far, I have a thank you gift for you. I made every element of this from scratch so that I could make a sample pack out of it to give to you. You can use these drums or you can chop up these guitar parts. Do whatever you want with the samples. I hope they encourage you to dive in and start making your own music and to stop making excuses like,
oh, I don't have any good samples,
or any of that stuff. So go ahead and go to the link in the description to get those samples. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.